Hey folks, this is Matt. I was gonna say, there are a lot of readings that I have deleted, or just ended up not posting, and a lot of the times that happens because it just doesn't feel right. I'll do the reading, and this is like, it could be 30 minutes. And I come to the end of it and I go, something just doesn't click for me. And I think I did a private reading for somebody just now. And something that was clicking for me was that the way that I was doing my spreads, it's been probably too loose in the last little while. The benefit to doing a very loose spread is it does allow for more poetic messaging, but it doesn't necessarily allow for clarity. And recently, I've been feeling more of a pull towards clarity. And I don't know if that's just it is Aquarius season. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. But I have been feeling this pull towards being a little more refined in the information, being a little more refined in how I divulge what I'm trying to say and trying to get through. Because I don't really, when you're doing tarot readings on the internet, I don't really know who I'm speaking to all the time. I have a couple ideas, because there are a couple of people who I know personally who watch these videos. But, there are other people who are just I don't know who you are. And so these messages might resonate with you in totally different ways. And so when that is as I've been reflecting on that, a part of me has been wanting to go, okay, let me clarify these spreads for myself. So I'm not just it's nice to say things that sound nice, right? But it also needs to be useful too. I can only do, unless I can just post, I can keep posting videos and just tell y'all, love is all you need. But, I don't know, is that, is that necessarily, the message that we're getting every single time? So anyway, we're going to start with our personal card here, Four of Wands. Well, that's certainly a love is all you need type of card. Four of Wands, and this has been coming up a lot in readings. Recently I've been feeling this card as sort of an urge to nest, an urge to pull in to where you feel comfortable and at home. And I think part of that is because I've been feeling that way the last couple of days. I've very much gone more quiet and just wanting to hang out, watch movies, not be as chatty, even doing this tarot reading today, I had a certain amount of reservation about it, just because it's I don't really want to talk. Yeah, exactly. This is Four Wands, Four Pentacles. Some really stable nesting energy. This is a card of, holding back, being more reserved. It can also be a card of hiding, laying low. Yeah, to a certain extent, right? That's when any creature is nesting, that's certainly part of it, is you find a place to just lie low while you take care of your personal needs, whether that's taking care of children, whether that's just surviving the winter, right? There's certainly a lot of that going on. I think, I mean, for me, the next card I want to pull, I want to ask, like, I want to ask a why, you know? What in particular is sort of guiding this laying low, sort of nesting energy? Queen of Pentacles. It's getting ready to receive something. And it's also receiving in the moment, right? It's like receiving the abundance that's there already, but also preparing to receive abundance to come. And there's kind of like, I mean, I do get like there is a love energy in this. Oh, there's the maintenance guy is about to show up at my door. This is why I'm trying to lay low. I may have to pause this reading a little bit, but we'll see. I am getting the sense of there is some kind of love energy coming in. And I definitely, you know, I noticed that happening in my life. I've noticed that happening in the lives of others around me. We are supposed to be entering into the age of Aquarius, which there's a lot of speculation about, right? And maybe we'll get into that a little further as we go into the reading. But so far, it's very grounded. This is a very grounded reading. Temperance. So Temperance is the card I'm putting down for our future, right? And there's a sense here going into the future that we need to allow ourselves to root to ground and to also kind of wait out things that are happening, right? Like we're in the middle of winter. We're in the middle of this moment of like allowing the cold to blow over. And I hear the maintenance guy getting closer and closer in the hallway. This is the most... I'm going to have to wait this out, right? You know, Temperance came up in another reading previously that was in lieu of a tower moment. And I'm going to leave that right here because the maintenance guy's coming. I can hear him down the hall, and he's getting closer and closer step by step. So we're going to return to this reading once he's cleared out. Gosh, dog it. All right, and I'll be back in a little bit. Okay. Tarot is funny that way. So where we last left off, Temperance. And you know, what I'm about to say is kind of based off of previous readings. We're definitely in the middle of this waiting it out energy. Because there are things unfolding and things to be unfolded that we don't fully comprehend yet. I know for myself, there are relationships that are unfolding. There are connections that are unfolding where I don't really fully understand how everything is fitting together. I find myself stepping up in new ways in my communities that I don't really get. And I also find myself sort of pruning aspects of other communities where I do understand why I'm pruning them and what it's leading to. So a big part of, you know, this theme about nesting it is about taking an assessment of what you have and what you need to like hold on to, and then also taking an assessment of not only what nurtures you but what nurtures others, right? In any home, you may find yourself in a situation where you're just like, why do I have this junk, right? Like, last week I gave away a whole dish set because I didn't like the way the dish set looked, and also it was like, it belonged to an uncle who passed away, and I love that uncle. Like, I have nothing against him. I just didn't want to hold on to his energy, and I felt like his energy was kind of rooted in those plates, and I ended up buying plates that look beautiful, and I like to look at them, and they make me happy when I look at them, and they also make me think about like wanting to invite people in, right, to like, hey, make dinner for, or to share, right? Like, I'm thinking more and more in that regards of kind of going back to this kind of energy of inviting. But before you invite, you have to have a space that you feel comfortable inviting people into. And I definitely, for myself, I find myself like making those adjustments. Queen of Cups. More nurturing, more kind of nesting energy too. Very good like accomplice with Temperance. Because we see in Temperance this angel who is like intermixing stuff in two different cups. Queen of Cups is somebody who understands this process and understands the emotional investment that goes into not just nesting, but also, creating that home environment. Creating that space that is inviting and nurturing. I mean, this read so far, I would say, is like really, this is a cozy read. So I do think, I don't know, I look at this reading for myself and it's just like, yeah, I see a lot of my energy sort of developed around like inviting this into my life and this into my life. And that may be the same for y'all. You may find yourself in a position where you're trying to invite, nurturing energy into your life. And we all need it, right? Especially when the world doesn't feel so nurturing, right? Not that the world has really ever been a nurturing place, to be totally honest. We have to cultivate that for ourselves. We have to cultivate those things that do nourish us, right? Like agriculture came from that impulse because people realized, like, we got to find a way to work with nature instead of working against nature and being totally at odds with it all the time, because we know winter's going to come at some point. So let's work with that. And ironically, nowadays, we have gotten so good at predicting nature and so good at manipulating nature that it's actually kind of working against us right now, right? But that's a whole other topic. That's not even tangential to this reading. Let's stay focused, right? We've gotten pretty far in. I do want to put a little bit of a capper at this point on our reading, because so what I'm getting so far, building a place for ourselves that is inspirational, but is also a place where we can kind of hunker down and lay low, right? For those times when we're just like, we need to write it out. We need to wait things out. We need to let heaven do its work. But a place that is also inviting towards, that kind of nurturing, life-building energy. Loving, sensual. It's a place where you feel comfortable to open up in a full spectrum love kind of way. And this is all part of like an emotionally nurturing goal, right? It's emotional, it's physical, it's inspirational, it's everything you would want out of a home, right? And we are in the season currently where it is time to make those decisions for the year ahead. Because, what's coming up? King of Wands. Right now, okay. This is what I'm seeing on the board. It's a transformational process. Of an aspect of, inspirational, yang-styled masculine energy and like nurturing, emotional, flowing, adaptable, feminine energy. I mean, this is powerful stuff. I mean, something I think about, when you think about when I think about Aquarius, I think of the star card, right? And the star card portrays somebody holding two urns or cups or jugs or what have you. And each one has, water pouring out of it. And the same thing for temperance, where it's just like blending these two personality traits together, blending these two spiritual components together, like fire and water. And fire and water makes steam, and from steam you can generate an incredible amount of power to, propel people forward. Propel people forward to what? Just when the reading was getting good. This might be one of those times where I would say propelling people forward towards something that is a little bit sexy. A little bit like scandalous, a little bit like pan energy, right? Like the what is it? The satyr god Pan. That's what I'm getting currently. This is not the typical devil energy of like shadow work or caution or pain, but this is something that's more like bacchanal, right? Like that's what we're setting up for. And I think that there are seasons in human history, and we're coming out of a season of human history that is very constrained, right? I mean, this could easily be that constraining period of human history. But it's like a tightening that leads to an explosive outburst of, I'll just be upfront, of like sexual creative energy. It doesn't have to be explicitly, sex, right? Like, blinking necessarily. But, what comes to mind for me right now is like the hippie movement, 1960s counterculture. peace, love, and rock and roll. And I really, I'm looking at this reading right now, and this reading currently, I would say, confirms a sentiment that I've had over the last probably 4 years. I've been feeling it coming on, which is that I think we're about to return to that period of time that is extremely celebrative. In that, gosh, this is a topic that's going to keep getting wider and wider, but I'll say this much. Enjoy the good times as they come along. So make sure you have this. Because eventually the good times end, right? Eventually the good times end, and if you haven't prepared appropriately, you could really be caught off guard. And that's kind of another thing about the devil, right? Is like, that's kind of the devil's contract, is if you're not prepared, you will have to pay your dues. So to my point, we are coming out of winter. We're coming out of a human winter of a lot of despondency, a lot of anxiety, a lot of constricted energy. And we are about to enter into a place that is extremely ecstatic. And it's going to be fun. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to have a lot of fun. I'm already having a lot of fun. But this is both like promise and caution in the read. Because like I said, you can, if you go forward and you're not aware of the contract that you're making, you will end up paying debts you didn't realize you had to pay. However, if you come into it with this kind of energy and you understand, right, like, okay, with every good comes a bad, with every, with every moment of with every moment of ecstasy also comes a moment of somberness, of soberness, of quiet reflection. So as you're getting prepared, right, for this next chapter, which is going to be explosive, ecstatic, fun, a little chaotic, right? Like, this is fun, explosive, chaotic, emotionally nurturing, healing even, right? Emotionally fulfilling. This is what we're getting ready for. As you're preparing for that, keep in mind that whatever intentions you're putting forward, whatever contracts you're building with those around you, there's going to be a reverse side of that. The angel and the devil. So take into account what that reverse side is, prepare for it, take precautions, and have fun responsibly. I definitely would, as a final note, it's like I definitely would call myself somebody who is at times called towards hedonism, but you have to be ethical. and how you have to be ethical in your hedonism. You are allowed to have fun in this life, but you have to make sure that it is not at the cost of other people, and it's not at the cost of your own, your soul, yourself, your personhood, right? I think that's it. I think that's the reading. Very interesting reading. I hope for y'all out there that you are doing that appropriate work of building your nest and building your place of repose, because interesting times coming up. All right, I will leave it at that, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. All right, bye.